So managing expectations, this is a topic that I've been talking about in many of my previous videos. And this is something I cover in almost every of my training course. The reason behind that is because it's so important. You can only provide a successful experience. You can only make sure your customers get the best of what you're providing and that they are ready for it if you manage their expectations successfully. So I've been covering a lot of different aspects of managing expectations. I would like to talk about some specific things to keep in mind when it comes to managing expectations. So managing expectations is about understanding what information you want to give to your customers and what information you need to get from them. So the thing is about that, most part of the time as business owners, as professionals, we do that based on our own level of expertise, our own side of the equation. But the thing is, things that seems obvious to us are not necessarily obvious to our customers. So that is the first thing to keep in mind, is that once you ask yourself, what information do I really need to give my customers? What question do I really want to ask my clients? We need to make it based on both levels of expertise, not our own. So we need to ask ourselves, what would I like to know about my offer, about what I provide, about the different terms of conditions around it, if I wouldn't know anything about it. So the second very important point when it comes to managing expectations is about having those courageous conversations and having the power to say no. On many instances when customers have unrealistic requests, out of the ordinary expectations, they are expecting things that are not really realistic or out of our way of providing our offer. We may not want to say no. We may not want to have this courageous conversation because we are afraid to upset the customers. A quick recommendation when it comes to saying no to customers is to use the no, why, but approach. So you say no without saying no. Unfortunately, this is not something we can do because, etc., etc. So this is the why when you are arriving to the because. Then what you do is you give an alternative solution. This is the but. You say alternatively what we can do for you is etc., etc. So you are not saying no directly, you are explaining why, and then you are giving an alternative option. But the main idea behind that is, again, to have those courageous conversations with your clients, because sometimes we think that we are making them more happy by saying yes on things that we are not sure we are capable in providing. We are actually over-promising things, and they may be the first one disappointed moving forward. Make it about their needs. Make it about the way you want to provide the best experience, so you avoid making it conflictual, but have those courageous conversations so they know what to expect. Because again, at the end of the day, the first one that may be disappointed if you are not reaching what you have promised is your customers. So last but definitely not least, when it comes to managing expectations, is about doing it consistently. Managing expectation is done a lot during the first stage of the customer journey, which is the awareness and selling stage. Yes, when you are selling, when you are onboarding, it is really important to set the correct expectations. But this is definitely something that you keep doing throughout the whole customer journey. The reason behind that, well, I always like to illustrate it with a simple example. If you've been onboarded for a specific offer and you are a member of that community or you are a client of that business since, 2 years now, how much do you remember from that selling or onboarding meeting? Not much. So that's why it is really important to do it in a consistent way. What procedures and processes do you have in place to keep sending reminders to your customers? How often do you check on them to see if they are fully happy, if they are fully satisfied with what you're providing? And that's something I always like to talk about. Is sometimes people say to me, well, if you keep checking on your customers, you're only encouraging them to give unrealistic feedback. But if they give you this unrealistic feedback, it means that they think about it already. So you being able to create a situation where you can talk with them and discuss it through to, again, get them back with the correct expectation, this is actually key. So managing expectation is actually a lot about how happy you are making your clients, but also how loyal you are making them to your brand, because they will be fully ready to get all the value out of what you're providing. So clientele satisfaction in itself, and more generally customer loyalty, can increase by 30% the total revenue you are generating from clients each year. And this is about upselling in the clients you already have. But this pool of customers can be one of the best routes for those new sales and those new acquisitions that you can get on a consistent basis. And the good thing is, it's not only about quantity, but definitely about quality. The reason behind that? Very simple. You have 3 times more chance to convert a lead who has been referred by one of your customers. So yes, indeed, managing expectation is one of the most important aspects of customer service, because it can have such a great impact on your customer experience, your clientele satisfaction, and therefore your clientele's loyalty. This is how they're going to stand as real brand ambassadors for your brand. You will be able to elevate your brand through the heart of the business, which is the customers. And you wouldn't want to run a business without doing so.